jamming. Tell my neighbor come over. He telling me load on music. He telling me that's it right. The neighborhood white as ever. No problems to sleep at night. I tell him I love me soca. The music hot like a true love. Bring your body, come on out here. Move your body just like you don't care. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. And bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so nice. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. He said he just can't do that. He never hear music, so I tell him that's how we do it. Bring up what's on there, let's ride. It's a love effect in your life. Come join and feel the vibe. I tell him just come over, enjoy yourself, no pressure. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so nice. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. The music pumping big time, and woman taking small wine. Oh yeah, we in the street wet. We jamming, enjoying the fest. Something say look in the corner. It's my neighbor, he come over. He hand in the air, he jamming. On a bumper it says moving. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. What went on I don't know. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell them it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. Yes, my neighbor. Jamming.
Greetings and salutations, one and all.
Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell them
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening,
and don't think twice.
good night to you wherever you are in the world. How you doing?
He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud.
I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stewart's Community and Finance Night.
We jamming.
I want to say big ups to all my neighbors out there.
He said he just can't do that.
Whether you're locked in on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew.
Bring up what's on there, let's ride. It's a love effect in love.
You're tuning in out of the UK on One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK.
No pressure. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat.
Big ups to those out of New Jersey,
All of we just
NIE Radio.
I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so
New Jersey's finest.
nice. He moving,
Big ups to the motivator.
singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. The music
I
pumping.
want to say big ups to those who are locked in out of South Florida and on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com.
Enjoying the fest. Something say look in the corner.
Much love, Mr. Lindsay.
He hand in the air, he jamming. On a bumper it says moving. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca.
Big ups to the massive out of New York on Island worldwide, exhibiting the power of music.
Whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's the neighbor, no control.
Much love to ya.
We jamming it so.
Those locked in on PEMGTV.com.
Bring your waist,
Big ups to ya.
soca. All of we just jam.
The Texas Massive, well represented.
Feel the rhythm.
Oliwap Radio Dusic Media Group and WGLRO, all out of Texas. Big ups to Donnie Walker
Jamming.
on the Donnie Walker Morning Show.
We jamming it so.
Touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between on the People Station.
All of we just jam.
Much love to those in Texas.
So sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat.
However it is you're locked on and tuned in, big ups to ya. Kicking things off with the sound of Shelly Sweet Shells. The track is called My Neighbor. Who is your neighbor? Where does your neighbor live? Is it in your development? Or is it just in your world? Yeah, it makes you think about things differently, doesn't it? I want to say big ups to my sponsors, Pulse Media Group, and being in a moment is priceless. Go ahead and give them a call. What can they do for you? Everything you see here on kevinstew.com and so much more. If a wedding, a seminar, a church service, a funeral, a party, a graduation, you name it. They can stream it for you on a secure platform, whether it is yours or theirs. Call them up, 754-999-1140. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Big ups to Althea and her healing heavenly hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Call her up, 954-655-9000. You can also email her at thealater@att.net. She only has one request outside of paying her, that you get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. She started implementing that rule when I started falling asleep on her table. I want to say thanks to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global will act as your booking agents, handle your tour management, take care of your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Check them out at reggaeglobalentertainment.com or simply use the short version, reggaeglobal.com. I want to say thank you to McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, you're in good hands. You're looking to move from here to go there. I want to know how to do it. You don't have the right people, you don't have the equipment, you don't have the vehicle. No worries. Let's go ahead and call up McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, you're in good hands. 954-406-9740. Tell them Kevin was chatting them up here. So I don't know what is going on with Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse and you are looking forward to the broadcast tonight, for some reason the room won't start. No worries, those of you on Facebook Live, you guys are still here with me. But remember, it's only a segment broadcast, so don't get too comfortable. Use the link that is pinned in the comment section. Come on over to kevinstew.com. You're invited to jump into the stew pot. What is a stew pot, you may ask? It's what others call a chat room, because we're fancy over here. It's our interactive portal where we keep things bubbling and lively. Just go to kevinstew.com. You don't need to register. You don't need to give a blood sacrifice, offer your firstborn or an internal organ. Let's go to kevinstew.com and you're there. Invite you to call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Yep. We're not leaving anybody out. We're all inclusive over here. Cujo! Blessings to you, my brother. So on the line, I have my neighbor with me.
I tell him come over, come over.
My neighbor, I'm inviting you to come on over and come back on screen. I don't know where she disappeared to, you know. I see when you're doing multiple things, boy, I tell you.
We jamming is so sweet.
I can't wait to get this update.
Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jam
Because this woman here has been quite busy.
sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel it. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Take time, let me twice.
You know, I'd love to be able to see your face. I hear your voice. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the one and only, no stranger to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, the one and only Sylvia Sharps.
Hi,
Hey,
Kevin. Thank you
Sylvia.
so much for the opportunity to come on your show.
Welcome
I am
back.
so proud of you and what you've done and what you're doing. You're a voice to be heard, that's for sure.
I thank you. I thank you. You know, I try to let my voice be heard, and I try to let others with something positive to say that their voice can be heard also. And you kind of fall in the category of someone with positive things to say. So you've been busy. How long has it been since you've last been on this broadcast? Just over a year?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you believe it? It's been that long.
No. It's just so much going on until it's just sad and critical. I don't
hmm
I've lost my best friend to COVID.
Sorry about that.
One of the
Condolences.
kids that I counseled to COVID.
Yeah.
Lenny and I both had it, and I had it twice. He had it, and he stopped eating, which was really scary because
What?
he's 6'6". Yeah, you know how big he is.
Lenny stopped
And
eating.
he stopped eating for 21 days. So,
What?
yeah. So every time I would talk to him, every time he opens his mouth to say something, I'd stick something in it, like some soup or a piece of chicken. He was so bad with me. But I was
does that?
worried.
Who
I
does
did
that?
not want him. Oh my God, I couldn't imagine life without him. So I was really worried. So, but thank
Understandable. Yeah.
God through prayer and patience and doctor gave him antibiotics that combats pneumonia so that he wouldn't get it,
Yeah.
and he made it through. Yeah,
You know what's
but
funny?
it was scary.
It's funny. Althea, Healing Heavenly Hands, Althea, our good friend Althea, had it twice also.
Mm.
And the second time she had it was quite similar to the first. No symptoms.
Wow.
It's crazy. Real crazy. But hey, you know, things happened, and it's funny. I'm sitting here smiling with you and having this moment right now, when earlier I was in an early stage of grieving, because you know grieving takes on a few stages, and I got news today of someone near and dear being killed this morning in a hit and run in New York.
Oh no.
And it was just, I tutor a little boy in reading on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I was on the way to tutor him. I was about 5 minutes from his house when I got that news.
Oh my God.
It was the hardest session I have had with this boy.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with him. But I can smile right now because through it all, whether they're taken from illness, they've passed on peacefully, or something like this happens, there's a tragedy, we're still left here reminded that we have work to do.
Yes.
And
Yes, that you're right. You're absolutely right.
it's not that we're not to mourn their passing. Yeah. More importantly, we get to celebrate their living
Hmm.
and what they have left us
Yeah.
with. The legacy lives on.
And the time that you got to spend with them
Yes.
while they were on this earth,
Yes.
that in itself is a blessing. And you have to look at it that way because otherwise, grief will wear you
Listen.
out.
Yeah. Wear you out and take you out.
Yeah, literally, people have died from broken hearts because you just
Yes.
give up,
Yes.
and it really does have a real effect on your vital organs. You can hurt so much that your heart will literally stop.
Yes.
I've been there when my son died. I went through so much. I just didn't want to live. It didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was the only child I had. So experiencing that,
Right.
I know that just how hard it is. And so I thank God for having empathy. I feel for people that have no empathy. I just don't understand how they live. How can you not care about people? I don't. How you do that?
It's a special gift that only a few have, and
Mm.
I'm glad that it's only a few, because if it was more, we'd be in an
Mhm.
even worse situation than we are today.
Yeah, I'm glad I
And
don't. I don't have that particular gift. I'm good.
right.
Mm.
Those of you who are listening in, wherever you're listening in from, you can chime in live and in living color. You can call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram, 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. I'll tell you one more time, 773-789-7839. The lines are open. You can call, give an encouraging word. Ask Sylvia a question if you have one. You see that those of you watching live, you see the number scrolling across the bottom of your screen right there. So I don't need to repeat it. But those that are listening, I'll tell you once more. 773-789-7839. Okay. So, Miss Sylvia. So we've been talking about a little bit of work to be done and people being left behind like us with work to do. But you have been pretty busy up there in Palm Beach County. And those that are new to the broadcast, those that are listening on, that will be listening on the podcast or checking out the YouTube channel and catching the broadcast there on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, they may be coming across you for the very first time. So, just a little bit of a recap and an overview. Who is Sylvia Sharps?
Oh my God! Sometimes I ask myself that because I'm so busy until. Oh, but I get the chance to live life. That's for darn sure.
Oh, yeah.
I am a volunteer counselor for senior citizens, delinquent youth, and domestic violence victims.
Yes.
I am a 30-year grant writer, manager. Um, I am a peopletician, which that's trademark. Thank you very much.
Yes,
I'm not a
yes.
politician. I'm a peopletician.
Mm-hmm.
I am running for office for Palm Beach County Commission, District 6 here in Palm Beach County, Florida, which encompasses Royal Palm Beach, Wellington, part of the acreage, Loxahatchee, Westlake, Belgrade, Pahokee, South Bay, and Canal Point. And I am, at this particular time, I have what I consider to be 4 opponents. There is one Republican that's running that will come about in December 1st. I have to win the primary in August the 23rd to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running against Melissa McKenzie's proxy, Michelle McGovern. That's her friend that she has in the race. Melissa McKinley is terming out. So she talked her friend into running. So that's why I call her the proxy. She's never held office before. So when she needs advice, she'll call Melissa.
Gotcha.
Matt Wilhite is running. He is currently in the House. the Florida House. He's a representative there. And so he's retiring from his job. And so he's a career politician.
Right.
And then you have me, the peopletician. And I'm running to represent all the people. I can't help everybody, but I will help anybody.
Gotcha.
There has not been a whole lot of people sitting in political positions with authority that have actually represented the people, per se, listening to them and making decisions that are positive overall for the livelihood of all of us. And so that's who I am. That's where I come in. I'm tired of people making selfish decisions, people allowing developers and others to give them so much money to run. It appears that they're a shoo-in because they have over $100,000 in their coffer. Money doesn't vote, people do. So it's up to the people that know me and have had the opportunity to meet me over the past couple of years since I've been out and running.
Yeah.
And that will go and vote for me. It's up to them. It's up to the people, period. People say you're not considered a viable candidate unless you can raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. I say the opposite. I say that when you take those hundreds of thousands of dollars from the people who have the money, or from the actual money pushers, then when they walk in your meeting and you're sitting on the dais, you may have a project in front of you, they expect you to say yes.
Right.
They may not say a word, just the fact that you have been bankrolled by them. They expect what they want to happen to happen. That's the way it's been. That's the way it seems like it's going to be.
Isn't that the political? That is the political way, though, isn't it? It's
Yes.
kind of the political model.
And that's why we're in the trouble we're in now. Have you noticed? Everybody's saying it, but nobody's really paying attention to it. They are targeting Putin through the money. The people that have the money that support Putin, if they affect them in a negative way, take them out, take their yachts, take their power by taking their money. This guy lost billions of dollars in one day. I just can't say billions, let alone have billions, but he lost billions of dollars in one day. That's the problem, because all these billionaires and millionaires are making decisions that have everyday effects on people that are making $15 to $30 an hour.
Yep.
And it's not doing us, those people, any good. It only helps the people that are making the millions and the billions of dollars.
But
example.
Okay, go ahead.
If I'm a developer and I decide I want to utilize or take some land or buy some land in the preserve, which that's a pet peeve with me. Preserve means just that. It's supposed to be preserved.
Right.
There's a reason it says preserve.
Right.
Preserve the land for later use, and so that we can have some land and trees, and it is preserved. Does anybody remember that trees make oxygen for us? I'm just saying. So anyway,
and filters out the carbon dioxide.
I digress. Yeah.
Simple science.
So the developer decides they want to build some buildings in the preserve.
Right.
And a part of that preserve area are landscaping businesses. And the reason that they're in there is because they do landscaping, which is good, because it makes sense for landscapers to be near the preserve.
Right.
So here comes the developer, and they get some land, and it goes before the county commission, and it gets approved that they can buy the land. Then the next step is for the developer to build the houses, which they do, and then the little people who swear they want to live in an area that has natural trees and we can see an animal every now and then. They're confused, really are confused, but they can see that and they think they're in the wild. and they're all excited. And then the reality hits because there's landscapers out there who have big trucks in order to go and take care of different areas of the county with their trucks. And there are animals out there. There's big animals out there. There's gators and snakes and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then here come the people that had the nerve to move to that area, and now they think everybody else is out there should leave because now it's their area.
Right.
And they don't like the animals. Well, you knew the animals were out there when you moved out there. You didn't have to move out there. That was your choice. Why should the landscapers have to up their businesses and move, or the animals have to find somewhere else to go where there is nowhere to go? And traffic hasn't become congested. So just so you can buy your $400,000 house, why does that have to happen when you have so many other alternatives? And then you have the audacity.
Like what,
yeah, but you have the audacity to have children, and you want to fuss because there's no real natural land left for your children to go and visit. But that's your fault. Because you were in support of the developers developing the land so you could live there and pretend you lived in the wilderness.
Right.
I mean, it's just a vicious circle. So like I was saying, when those developers and those people that want to make those changes walk into the county commission meeting or the city commission meeting, or even in Washington, D.C., and there's a proposal that is presented before them, do you honestly and sincerely think that nobody's going to think wrong of them if they vote yes? Of course they're going to vote yes. Why? Because they funded their campaign so they could be on the dais to begin with.
Right.
There's no consideration given for Susie Q, who has a 5-acre ranch and she's trying to make it work. There's no consideration given for John Myers, who, and heaven forbid that's somebody's real name because I don't know you, who lives in that area, and he's only making $20 an hour to feed his 4 kids and his wife. There's no consideration given for them. It's like they don't have a voice. They don't have time to go to the commission meeting because the commission meeting is during the day while they're working.
Right.
Now the commissioners have reached out to them so they can have a community meeting and discuss the things that may be coming up or the changes that are embedded into the 20-year plan for your area. I mean, it's just so much wrong. And then you have the nerve to get elected, stand up on that dais, put your right hand in the air and swear to God, take an oath that you're going to represent all the people to the best of your ability. And the only thing that you told the truth about is that you're going to do it to the best of your ability. And we, as the people, know that your ability is lacking because you've taken money from so many other people that have so many other agendas that you're just going to go along with the flow.
So if that has been the general idea, if that has been the way how things have gone for so long, okay, here comes Sylvia Sharps. What makes anybody want to say, you know what, let's do something different? Why would they decide, you know, I'm hearing what Sylvia is saying. I'm hearing what Miss Sharps is saying, and I think I'm going to go with this. However, this has been working, quote unquote, all along. The people with the money, the people with the with most of the influence are the ones who tend to be the influencers. And
well,
the ones that actually have the power.
With the money.
Yes.
Oh my God. When you think differently, when you want to represent the people sincerely, when you want to be that different voice and actually bring the livelihood and the feelings and the family members and what their needs really are for more roads that are drive friendly, or, you know, maybe not do so much eminent domain and take people's homes away from them that their families work hard for, when you become that voice and you want to be on the dais, you're not liked. I'm not liked. And I'm not liked by people who have had the severe, the absolute gall to even attack my website twice. My political website is sylviasharps.com.
Okay.
The first time they attacked it, they took down everything on it.
Mm-hmm.
Pictures, the way to volunteer, the link for the site to give money, took it all down. Got it back up. This time they went behind my website through a countdown clock that I had on my site and changed the code in the back of the website. There's a young man by the name of Andre Raju. Andre is one of the smartest IT people I've ever met for my entire life. That young man is just so intelligent until it's scary. And I have so much respect for him. I really, really want him to become a representative because he cares about the people, but he's so intelligent. So he volunteers with me, thank God. And he has friends who also know a lot about IT. So they were able to determine exactly what the hacker did. And he was able to fix it in one day.
Wow.
He found out through one of his other friends out of Washington, D.C., that it costs approximately $10,000 to $12,000 for a hacker to go in and do what they did to my site.
Say what now?
Second time. Yes, sir.
Wait, that's a business that's available? That's a service that's available as a business?
It's a malicious attack.
Yeah, but how does one contract a service like this, though? No, I'm curious. There's one thing to know that there's such a service out there available. Where does one go to find a service like this?
But you know that there are even political gurus that you can hire that will do the dirty work, that will, find out everything that you've done in your life and blow up any negative thing and make it so bad that it just stays on the news. And I know you know that.
Yeah.
Well, they will point out the least little thing and turn it into an actual item so that people will think you're such a terrible person that you shouldn't be running. And the majority of the time, it's either a lie that they made up, or it's a fact of some kind that was taken care of, that was settled. I'll tell you about that too in a minute. But what Andre said, and this is his writing, he said, upon the review of the coding script for the website, we have found that a code injection attack was launched on Ms. Sharp's website. The perpetrators were able to use the messaging form on the website to maliciously inject a type of coding that allows the perpetrator to exploit the website. This website has been exploited twice. They did that twice. They removed all the website content, and in the first instance, erased all the website content. In the second instance, the way they said it, they put the code in there, and when you went to my website, it continuously blinked. It would not go ahead and load. So nobody could give, nobody could volunteer, nobody could see my pictures, nobody could see what I had been doing. None of that.
No.
So it made me angry, of course, because I paid money for that website. It wasn't free.
Right.
And this is how I communicate with people and let people know that I'm running, Yeah. I got angry. I told him, I just, what is wrong with people? Why are they so mean and nasty? Lenny said, that's my bad ass, Lenny.
Yes.
He said, I understand you're angry and I understand why. I'm irritated too. He said, but that means you're a threat. You got to remember, they would be messing with you if they didn't think that you were an actual threat.
That's right there. Lenny with the voice of reasoning once again. Okay, so here it is. These individuals paid someone upwards of $10,000. So clearly, some people have some money at their disposal because in times like these, you don't just throw out $10,000. It doesn't
I
just happen.
don't.
In fact, I could do very well with $2,000 right now.
Yeah, me too. There you go. I
Let
can
alone
handle 5,000 right
10.
now. 5,000 would be great. Actually, I need approximately $15,000 for my campaign to go ahead and finish my run. So if they just want to give away some money, I'm here. They can give it to me
Right.
out at $1,000 a pop because that's the maximum amount that you can donate to my campaign.
So
And then it's all the other little things that have happened. This past weekend out in the Glades,
yes.
I tried to get a booth in the Afro Arts Festival because I'm qualifying by signature instead of paying the $8,000 to be on the ballot. I'm collecting a little over 1,400 signatures for my name to be on the ballot.
Okay.
So what I've been doing, right, is paying for booths to be in different areas of my district and getting people to register voters who are current registered voters to sign the petition so that my name could be on the ballot. And so I was going to do that this weekend. So Lenny called and asked if I could get a booth. I was going to pay for it, of course, and I wanted it for free. And he was told no, because the group who put on Afro Arts, Kappa, I'll tell you the name of it in a few minutes. Kappa, somebody. You don't even want to know. But anyway, they said we're nonpartisan.
Okay.
So, we can't have anybody running for office, at our event. It's the ones in blue. Kappa Epsilon something. Lenny, what's the name of the okay. So anyway, he'll tell me. So I said, okay, fine. So I said, I signed up for some other events that are going on in Grace. And so what's the name of the sorority that wouldn't let me get a tent at Afro Arts?
Zeta Phi Beta.
No.
Zeta Phi Beta.
Is it Zeta Phi Beta?
Zeta.
Okay, Zeta Phi Beta.
Listen to Lenny.
So I was told, he said hi.
Hi, Gabs.
You heard him?
Hey, Lenny.
What up, now, boy?
Gotta love Lenny.
Absolutely hilarious. So Zeta Phi Beta. So I call people out. I don't care. I ain't scared.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just tired. I'm just so tired. So Mary Evans was Zeta Phi Beta, told me that no, I could not get it. Told Lenny that I couldn't get a spot because they're nonpartisan. So okay. Because I got other spots that I'll do it in. And then I'm going still, doing it in so many other cities in my district. So I'm still going. I still was going out to Afro Arts because my job, who I worked for, Legal Aid, had a booth, paid for a booth for me to hand out information, for the residents. Because for evictions, we have attorneys that will represent them in evictions. And we did have some money to help people pay their back rent.
Okay.
And then to solidify their leases and things of that nature.
Right.
So that they wouldn't be homeless. So I went out there, to do that. So I'm out there. I don't even know. The wind was exceedingly high Saturday. I don't know where you were, if you knew that. But it was really bad Saturday. And so they had, when you signed up, you could get a tent and a table. So my job had signed up for a tent and a table. So when I got there, and I asked the young lady, I said, where am I? Where's my spot? She said, I don't have your name on the list. And I said, you don't have legal aid of Society of Palm Beach County? And she said, no. I said, well, okay. She said, I'll call somebody. So she did. And she called Miss Mary Evans. And Miss Mary Evans said, Oh, when I saw your name, I assumed that it was a part of your campaign, and I gave it to the mayor.
The what?
Yeah, it wasn't the mayor's event, nor was it a city event. So I said, I don't know what one has to do with the other, but I came out here for my job to pass out literature, help people stay in their homes. So I want to know why you thought it was imperative that you should give my application that came from legal aid, and everything on the application said legal aid, and the check came from legal aid. Why you thought it was imperative for you to, it was necessary for you to give that application and check to the mayor? She said, well, I just I didn't see legal aid. I just assumed it was you and that was a political thing. Oh, so you assume. Well, I started, and then later on,
So how was
she
this
came over
resolved
and
though?
said she was sorry if she hurt my feelings. But when I approached Tammy Jackson Moore, who is the head of the nonprofit that usually spearheads events in the Glades, she claimed to not know anything about my call regarding trying to get a booth so someone else could manage, for my campaign. And the only reason that I could, ask her about the campaign booth was because when I got out there, Kevin, there was a big old bus that said, what's the new congresswoman name? Sherry who? Sheila McCormick.
Sheila Shepherd McCormick.
You heard what Liddy said. Sheila Shepherd McCormick. Repeat what he said. And then there was a tent with Joseph Abruzzo on there. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you all are nonpartisan, and that's why I couldn't have a booth because I'm running, why does she have a big
Bus?
Yeah, I did cuss. Big A bus on this side, and he got 10 on this side. So when I approached him and asked about it, you ever seen somebody stuck like Chuck?
Yeah.
Because at first they can't say nothing.
Right.
That's the only reason, I swear to God, that's the only reason I kept my calm. It really was. I was very calm, diplomatic. I knew there was nothing I could do to change anything, but the old me sure didn't want to make an appearance. Okay. So then she's like, oh, I'm going to find out and I'll get back with you today. I said, okay. So I turned around, walked off, went on back to, helping the people with my legal aid stuff. And then here comes Tammy and Mary Evans. And the story was, the reason that they're out here is because Sheila McCormick was doing casework. Because she was already elected, so that's why she was out there. Now, I guess I'm supposed to be too dumb to know that this woman is running again, because you do know that she was taking the place of Alcee Hastings, who died.
Right.
So she has to run again in November election, in order to maintain that seat. Holdness, who lost by several votes, is running again.
Right.
Okay, so she is campaigning.
Who is from down here in Broad County?
Yes, and I'm supporting them 100%. Let me put that tag in. Hold us if you need me. Call me.
I'll tell him.
Please do. So I think myself, these people don't know nothing about me. I worked for Congresswoman Brown. I worked for a senator in Washington. I've done research for when the school lunch program was on the House floor and being debated as to whether or not it was going to continue being funded.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a former mayor who is now a congresswoman. I help run campaigns for congresspeople. I worked in Washington. So you're going to try and tell me this woman doing casework when I personally have done casework myself, and I know what casework is, and there's nobody out there doing casework. But you want to tell me that story, and I'm supposed to be okay and just trot off like, I don't know, Rambo in the wind. No. So it took a Herculean effort for me to like I said, make sure that the old me did not rise up, because in the end, the people will speak.
Right.
And I know that. There's a young lady here, Kevin, that I really want you to meet. Her name is Rita Powell. Rita Powell ran for commissioner for the city of Riviera Beach, Florida.
Right.
She is the only write-in candidate to win an election in Palm Beach County as a write-in candidate. Do you know what that means?
What does that mean?
That means that her name was not printed on the ballot. That means that everybody she talked to that decided to vote for her had to write her name in the space for the write-in candidate.
Oh, wow.
She won that election. So
I would
nobody,
love to speak with her.
She is a friend of mine. She's someone I respect. She is one of my advisors for my campaign. Nobody can tell me that I can't win this race. This woman won that race by people writing her name down on their ballots.
Right.
Won in a landslide.
I'd love to speak with her because she had to have been doing something different. When you, let's talk a little bit more about Sylvia, the person.
Okay.
So that people can get an understanding of this passion that you have. Because it takes some passion to want to represent the people. And that has to come from somewhere. You know, that you've talked about some of the things that you have done in the political arena. Working campaigns, working for individuals who are in politics. But politics without people is just, I don't know, someone just talking up a storm to nobody. Because you have to be interacting with people. So, what is it about you and people? Where have you worked with people? Where have you been interacting in the community so that people can understand what it is that connects you to want to represent people? And before you answer that question, I'm going to say goodbye to those on Facebook Live. Come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of this broadcast and to hear Sylvia's answer to this question. What it is that she had been doing up until this point, Sylvia, that represents how you work with people and have been out there in the community. Facebook Live, come to kevinstew.com. See you later. Okay, Sylvia, it's all yours.
Oh my God, Kevin. First of all, let me give you a short snapshot of my life. When I was 5 years old, my father was in the service, and my 5 brothers and sisters and my parents lived in Chicago, Illinois, as did my grandparents. My aunt babysat me because I was a preemie. She only weighed 3 pounds and 2 ounces. Right. So she actually kept me because she didn't work. I was 5 years old one day when she was babysitting me, and her neighbor walked down the street. We lived at 4245 Indiana Avenue South, Chicago, Illinois. Neighbor knocked on the door. My aunt went to the door. She shot her right in the doorway twice. My aunt fell sideways back up against the wall and slid down in sitting position dead.
Oh, no.
I had no idea. You know, it's not like now there's so much. There are so many people being killed by gunshots and siblings getting killed and parents in front of children. I didn't know what that was because it wasn't occurring that much.
Right.
So my dad decided we moved to Florida after he got out of service. My parents were foster parents. So they were foster parents for 11 years, had over 1,300 children come through their house. Because during that period, there was no limit on how many children they put in your home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I grew up in an empathetic house.
Got you.
Period. so many of those kids had problems and issues that was nothing compared to, what I was going through, the aggravation, the stress, and not understanding why she killed my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little boy who his mom had put him in a tub of hot water, and he had over, 30% burns all over his body.
Mm.
When he came to us, he was still, healing. Those type of things. People who left their kids on the beach in a car. Those type of incidents.
Right.
And then I got married
The
to
first time.
someone that I chose.
The first time.
Yeah, that first one was a doozy. And so it turned out he was extremely violent. And he beat me while I was pregnant. The last beating resulted in my son dying 4 hours after he was born. He kicked me so many times, they ruptured my uterus and my child died. And that was the only son that I had. So I tried to commit suicide twice. Really went through some things. Went to counseling for a little over 2 years. And my counselor told me, she said, the only way that you're ever going to be able to deal with what has happened to you is if you start helping people. There are a lot of victims in domestic violence that could learn how to be strong from your story. And that's how that started. We now have a nonprofit where we help women and men that have left domestically violent situations. And we've helped them to relocate, to get homes, to get furniture, to get food, to get clothes, to get counseling. That's what we do now. I also do that with senior citizens because I have a deep love in my heart for people.
Yes.
Period. And children. You know how I am about children. I am
Firsthand.
I tell you what. You heard a child or old person around me, boys. You gonna get it. I will not hold back. So I have a genuine love for people, especially people that I feel are being taken advantage of, regardless whether or not it's blatant or in a subtle way.
Right.
And so in that advocacy, when I would go to court or either go to commission meetings to try and get information for the senior citizens or the domestic violence victims to try and help understand why there were no moratoriums on capping the rent, because rents are now at $1,600 and above, and people really can't, afford because they have to work 2 to 3 jobs in order to even be able to afford to get a place.
Yes.
Because your income has to meet the rent by 3 to 4 times. Now I believe it's 4 times the rent you have to meet in order to get places. So it's gotten so bad. And I've been doing this outreach and helping others for so long that to me, it was a natural curve for me to go into politics, to try and become that representative for all the people, not just ones who can donate to me.
Right.
Not just rich ones, not just people who claim to have positions where they can help me or give me what they think I need or want. What I need or want is for there to be people on the dais that care about the decisions that they make for everybody, not just for themselves or those that, again, donate. And what the long-term effects are. Any decisions that are made now will have a long-term effect for the youth that are coming behind us, because we are going to die. I don't know when. I'm really hoping I make it, like my aunt, my other aunt lived to be 108. I would love to be able to do that. It's no guarantee. But still, when we leave, we need to leave something.
Right.
And on the other hand, what I want to do is I want to do my 2 terms in office, because it is a 2-term position, and then bring some young people in with me. Like Andre, I would love for him to work with me enough to get so interested that he'll become a representative, because I know he cares about the people.
Right.
To help young people understand the process of politics and what it takes to make good decisions that are long lasting, and understand the effects of new roads or new development and what it'll have on climate change, to understand climate change, to understand that when we make a decision to build those roads, there is nowhere for the water to drain to. You can only make so many areas for the water to drain to, and then you run out. And then for the traffic, there are only so many cars that are supposed to be on the road. We live in Florida. Florida is Florida is nothing but a little piece of dirt sitting on a whole lot of water. Let's be honest about the situation.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
One good
if
earthquake
God
and
allows me
Georgia
to
becomes
live
a
to be
coastline.
108, that Key West is probably going to be underwater by the time I get to be 108.
Listen,
You know, it's real.
one shake-up, one good shake-up,
That's
and Georgia
it.
becomes a coastline.
Yes, that's it. And nobody seems to care about those things. All they care about is what I can get right now.
Yeah.
That's got to stop. Somebody needs to step back, and it needs to. If I am going to be the catalyst for that, then I'm fine. I'll take that challenge. And if being the catalyst for that creates enemies for me because they think I'm trying to take something from them, then they're confused, but that's okay. You know, it is quite all right for you to be mad at me because I want to do the right thing. I'm supposed to want to do the right thing.
Now, people hearing you talk right now would kind of be like, wait, what? She's been through what? She's done what? Listen, I've had Sylvia on this broadcast in several capacities. You can check the archive, you'll see it. She's been on here talking about domestic violence. As you can hear, she's a domestic violence survivor. She's been on here talking about community work because she's been working in the community for the longest while. She's co-signed with some issues that I have addressed, even relating to children. We've both worked with children in the very same building, in the very same organization.
Yes.
We both worked at the Salvation Army. And in fact, I reported to Sylvia at one point. She probably wouldn't admit it, but
Yes, he did. He was very good at what he did, and I was not happy when he left. Let me just say that. Get out there.
but you know, this is the Sylvia that we're talking about, the Sylvia Sharps that we're talking about, and I met her doing community work, and we did work together, and she's continuing to do community work, and this is one of the reasons why I have her on tonight, because it's community and finance, and this is a part of community. And I once lived in Palm Beach County and now reside in Broward County, but the two are not that far apart geographically speaking. They're
Right down
neighboring
the street.
counties. So, and this is South Florida. We're both in South Florida. I'm a little bit more south of her, for those who don't know the geography of Florida. But we're still in one community. And
Yes.
whatever happens in her geographic community, good, bad, or indifferent, can also happen in mine. And so it's important that the same way that I am thinking, that you listeners are thinking along the same lines. Because if the person representing your community in any way, shape, or form, once you start talking about representation on a ballot, whether it from local government going all the way to the top, if they're not talking and doing, not just talking, but doing certain things that show that they are actually for the people, that they actually have a love for the community and what happens in that community, then you should be taking a second look at that individual. You should be asking questions of that individual. In fact, you should exercise your power to remind that individual that you are the one that put them there. So it's essentially they work for you.
Yes, they do. And that's the problem. It's again, we go back to when it seems to me that when they get on the dice and they raise their right hand, the common sense leaves the top of the head, flows down the shoulder and through the fingertips and I do. Just common sense, which is very powerful. It just leaves.
It's not that common anymore,
though.
So
many other things that have a tendency of taking over, and it's just I don't understand it to save my life. And then when you try to talk to them about affordable housing or homelessness, they really don't get it. During the period when my ex-husband, when I ran away from him several times, but the very last time I ended up being homeless. And I went all the way to Jacksonville, Florida. I have several degrees, Kevin, and you know that.
Yes.
I couldn't get a job. I could not get a job. I had one suitcase. I went on the bus. I don't even think I had $60. I didn't have $60 in my pocket. I got there on the bus. I got a job at Popeyes. I was working at Popeyes on the front counter for approximately 2 weeks. And then I became a manager. Popeye's been around a long time. Popeye's been around a long time. Y'all just don't know.
Yeah.
Churches has been around a long time. I was at churches before I went to Popeyes. And there was a rooming house that was right down the street from the churches where I got a room. I paid $50 a week for my room because I was hiding from him. He was trying to find me so he could kill me. And I stayed in that rooming house. And what one of the experiences that I had that taught me so much, first of all, there is no such thing as you can't be homeless because you got so much education and you can do so much that it just doesn't make any sense to you to be homeless. Majority of people I know are one paycheck away from being homeless. With the rent and
educated
insurance
individuals.
And things that nature, period. Okay? Especially now in this day and age. In being homeless, in that rooming house, there were rats. Have you ever seen a wood rat?
A wood rat.
Kevin? Yeah.
Describe
wood rats are quite large. They have them in Miami in Fort Lauderdale. Matter of fact, when you go to the basketball game, there's usually a couple of them walking down the street. Like like what? Seriously. I have gone over there. Me and Lenny went, and we go into the game with his brother. It was so funny. So there's two big rats walking down the sidewalk, and we literally passed by each other. Me, Lenny, his brother, and the two rats. They going in the opposite direction. They looking at us. We looking at them. I'm like, wow, well, they got tickets, but because of all that, wood rats.
Which is different from hood rats. two different things.
Yes. They're exceedingly intelligent critters. You hear what I say? So there were wood rats in the rooming house. And they at night, if you don't leave a light on, which they don't really care about a light, they would run across the bed. Dude. Whew. So anyway, I found that if I brought home a little food and I put it in a corner in the room, they would not come anywhere near my bed. And it only took like 2 days for me to train those rats. See, animals are extremely intelligent. So every day when I get off from work, every night when I would come home, I put a little food in the corner for my roommates.
Right.
Because they became my roommates. They didn't bother me. I didn't bother them. This is true.
Best way ever.
You have to, it's that the way you learn how to survive. It is what it is.
Right.
I wasn't going to kill them because I was stupid. I felt like if I killed them, then all their brothers and sisters would come down there and kick my behind in the middle of the day. So, I didn't want to get in a rat war. So I decided to appease them. And it worked. I learned so much being in a position where I had nothing
Yes.
but my common sense and my will to live. And I still wanted to do for people. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While running for my life. It made me realize just how blessed and how sacred life is. Unfortunately, he did find me and started the beatings and everything all over again. But after going through that, it gave me a resolve, and I made a decision. The next time I left, I wouldn't go back. I didn't care. I was so angry after my son died. I was filled with rage. People say that they can never hurt anybody, that they can never take another person's life. You don't know what you'll do when you're in a position where you have to either defend yourself or you get fed up to the point where you're just not going to take it anymore.
And
So
you
you
had
either
gotten to
do-
both, and you've told that story on
Yeah.
this platform.
You either,
Yep.
you're either going to do one or the other. You're going to become that person that's just perpetually scared of everything, and you're going to bow down, or you're going to become that other person. I ain't taking no more. Put
Right.
your hands up. I promise you, I swear to God, I'll go to jail, you go to hell. It'll be that. And it had to come to that point. It was sad that it had to come to that point. But it had to come to that point. Enough was enough. He took my son. I was angry.
Right.
After going through all that, so now I'm able, when I counsel people, when people come to me and they talk about what they're going through and they're in the relationships that they're in, I have the empathy and the experience to be able to understand exactly what they're saying and advise them, even though I know it's hard to leave. It's
Yes.
very hard to leave. It's not just that you have nowhere to go. It's not just that you're mentally beat down. It's just hard to leave because you become accustomed to the mental abuse, which leads to the physical abuse. The physical scars heal. It's the mental abuse that lasts for years. Even right now, I'm blessed. Lenny, you met Lenny. Lenny is
Yeah.
6'6", 320, and he's one of the most.
Well, he lost some weight
humble-
the other day with COVID, right?
Yeah, when he got back, I cook. So over the months, he's been able to become back to himself. But he is one of the most God-fearing, humble men I have ever met before in my entire life.
Yeah.
And he, just like me, cares about people. So a lot of things that I do, the outreach and the counseling that I do, he does too. We
Yes.
either do it together or he does it on his own. He's a retired professional football player.
Right.
You know, he has his own DJ business. You know that.
Yep.
So a lot of things he does, he works with youth. He works with older people. He takes care of a couple ladies in the acreage, you know, working on their farm, looking out for them because they don't have anybody,
Right.
you
Right.
know, that they can depend on. He's dependable. They know that he'll be there. And that's who he is. So I'm very grateful to God for putting that man in my life after going through what I went through. But I also understand that I would appreciate what I have if I hadn't went through what I did. You don't appreciate the good unless you've had some bad.
Right.
You literally have to go through something in order to recognize good when it comes.
Right.
So that's why I say when folk tell me, Sylvia, you still gonna run? Yeah, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run till the wheels fall off my toes. I'm not gonna give up.
Nor should you.
I don't give up.
Yeah. Not at all. And you know, it's important that people understand who Sylvia is, why Sylvia is running, and you've been painting that picture really well for people to get it. How, outside of going ahead and voting people like you into office, what can people do? what would you suggest people do? Because the woman suffering in a case of domestic violence, the family that is struggling to keep a roof over their heads. People are always saying, but there's help available for them. Everybody can get help. You can go ahead and go down to the community this or go down to the city that and get help. Really and truly, what can people do?
I get really irritated when people say, well, why didn't they just go ask for help? Do you know how hard that is to do? If you are a woman that's used to taking care of your kids, if you're a man that is trying to be a man who is responsible, the hardest thing in the world for you to do is to go and ask somebody for help. Period.
Yeah.
And I just had dental surgery, so y'all forgive how I look. Hopefully it'll be better after tomorrow. But regardless of all that, I was in the situation I was in. I could have called my brother. I could have called my dad. I could have called my sister. And I didn't, because I wanted to take care of myself. And I was embarrassed for being in a relationship where I was being abused. I didn't grow up in a home where my father beat my mama. My father didn't beat my mama. I wasn't raised in that kind of an environment. So I didn't want to admit that, that had actually happened to me. I didn't want to admit that in a way I was weak. And so I had become accustomed to that. It's hard to ask for help. I suggest people, first of all, recognize the signs of domestic violence. Everything is not clear cut. The majority of domestic violence starts with, a sharp comment. You say something, they say something negative back, and it escalates. And then you get the comments continuously. You ain't nothing. You can't do nothing without me. You ain't nobody. Don't nobody else want you. Don't nobody want you. I don't care what you think you're doing. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with you and your livelihood. You can be an attorney. I know attorneys that are domestic violence victims. So it's not about your livelihood or how much money you make. There are just some people that are just mean and nasty enough to want to keep you under their thumb. Recognize the signs. And if you can, try and recognize the signs before you get into the relationship. You can do that. Secondly, after you get in it, you really got to make a decision whether or not you want to be there. There is nothing I personally as a counselor can do or relocation advocate can do if you have not made up your mind that you're going to leave that situation and stay gone. I went back so many times until it was ridiculous. And that's what victims do.
Right.
It becomes a norm. And then they convince you, oh, I'll do better. Oh, I won't do it no more. And then it becomes, you made me do it. I want to go hit you. You made me. You made me. It's so what you said was what you did. Or it's how you looked. My ex-husband was so bad. We were driving. I was driving one day and he got mad at me and hit me while I was driving because I looked in the rearview mirror and he said I was flirting with the guy who was driving the car behind me. Yeah, that. Now it's funny, but it's not. It's not funny when somebody's
it really
hitting
isn't
you.
funny. Your delivery of the story is funny, but
yeah,
and it's not because I know some of these
then-
stories, and we've talked candidly about it. But in reality, this is real serious business, and it's nothing. It's nothing to laugh at. It's nothing to turn your noses up at either.
No, and don't get that impression that you think it can happen to you. There's no such thing as it can't. I will never be homeless. I'm always prepared. Well, I wouldn't have nobody never put their hand on me. I'd kill them. You don't know what you do. Shut up. If you really love somebody and they tap you upside your head and then they tell you, baby, I'm sorry, and they hold you and hug you, your little sensitive behind will be right there stuck with them until it gets to the point where you end up with broken ribs. Because unfortunately, that's just how we are psychologically,
Yeah.
men and women. Because there are men who are in domestically violent relationships too. I was counseling a gentleman once. His ex used to sit on him. He was your size, Kevin.
Mm.
And she was like on good 340, 350. She would sit on him to punish him.
Ooh, wow.
I almost killed him one time. Yeah. That's how she would get at him and make him do what she wanted him to do. These
Wow.
things happen. Those are the things that you got to do regarding your relationship. But first and foremost, you got to love yourself. You have to look at yourself and determine that you are worth more than somebody's punching bag or someone's insult. Don't let people convince you that you aren't worth anything. I don't care what you aren't able to do. If you're just able to clean a room, you clean it to the best of your ability, then you're worth something. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can't give anything but a smile, and you can do it sincerely from your heart, that means you're worth something. And so you got to become respectful of the fact that you are a human being that deserves to be loved, that deserves more than that anger. You don't deserve that.
So, hearing you talk about surviving domestic violence and recognizing self and loving self, and going back to earlier, hearing you talk about wanting to represent the community in the Palm Beach Commission, we're talking about two types of abuse that are kind of cut from the same cloth.
Yes.
Because politicians have been doing that to their constituents forever.
Yes.
That's the same kind of abuse that
yes.
is used in politics.
Mm-hmm.
And we, the people, keep going back to our abusers. We,
over
the people,
and over again.
keep getting abused the same way.
Yes.
And
you know what I found?
Here it is.
I was talking to Lenny. Lenny was talking to me rather, and he said, you know how I determine if somebody is really good for the area that they're representing? And I said, how? He said, I look at what they've done. If you've been in office, I don't care if it's only 2 years, what did you do in that period of time that was good for everyone overall?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? Did you recognize the need for better paying jobs and actually put forth an effort to convince some companies to move into the area and provide those jobs? Did you recognize the need for affordable housing and then try to come up with a plan to work with landlords so that they would make some of their rents affordable? Did you do that? Did you try to make sure that people can get into traffic and not have to worry about the roads being so overcrowded that they have to leave home at 4 o'clock in order to get downtown at 7 o'clock for their job? Did you work on that plan? And then if you didn't know what to do in a situation to help your community, were you able, ready, and willing to talk to someone who came up with a plan in another community, in another state? Go and talk to them, and if it's necessary, to duplicate what they do. Are you humble enough? Humble, because there's got to be some humility to admit, I don't know, but I will work on finding out. And then listening to the people and letting them know what you found out, because somebody in that group may actually have wisdom enough to say, well, I know how to do this, or I've experienced this, or where I used to live, we did this. And then listening to them and coming up with a concrete plan that can be utilized throughout the whole county. People have got to start paying attention. People have got to start voting, because Your vote is your voice. Don't let anybody try to tell you that your vote doesn't matter. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't be spending so much time trying to make sure that you don't do it.
Yeah.
I keep telling folk they don't understand that.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, know that your local politicians and representatives are just, if not more important than the ones in Washington and on the state level, because your local is going to have more effect on you directly than the other ones will. Right now, we have a governor, God bless his little heart. My grandma used to say that when people got on her nerves, that
take your time.
It is so blatant in his ways of proving that he just does not give a damn. Period. He doesn't. He just want to do whatever he want to do, and he don't care who don't like it, because his only goal is to become president of the United States. That's his only goal. He does not care. He's interfering in the congressional maps. He's interfering in the local maps. He's going into things and interfering with things that no other governor has dared to interfere in, just so he can make it possible for this state to be GOP controlled, so he can get in office and become the next president of the United States. That's his ultimate goal. And it's amazing to me that there are actually people who aren't paying attention and have the nerve to say, well, whatever they do, they do. No, dingleberry head. No, everything they do affects you. The money he's taking from the school district that had the nerve to have masks, that's going to affect you. Because that means that there's not going to be as many teachers there. That affects your children. And that's why the other day when Lenny went to the store and the young man was supposed to give Lenny some change, he couldn't count. And he graduated from high school. That's why.
Yeah.
So the things that you think have no effect on you, oh, they do. They do. And so you got to pay attention. You got to know, just because a person has collected over $100,000, $150,000 from people to run for office does not make them a viable candidate. What have they done in their lives? Have they done any volunteer work? Or are they running because, I'm going to say it because I am who I am. Are they running because the best friend talked them into it? And did their best friend talk them into it because they're the outgoing commissioner and they want to maintain that seat? So they're going to maintain that seat by making you their proxy, because you don't know that much about politics and you're going to call them for advice. It is what it is. And if a person if you can't see that, there's something wrong with somebody's vision. There's nothing wrong with mine.
So where does the balance come in though, Sylvia? Because there has to be some business involved with dealing with the community. So where does the balance come in? Because you have the business side of it to raise the funds to run your campaign. What happens after you run? What happens to the funds after you run the campaign anyway?
Okay, you run your campaign. Like right now, I am in money raising mode. But like I said, I'm I'm very particular about who I'm taking money from. If there's a Susan Brown and she wants to give me $25, the maximum is $1,000. Then I'll take it and we will talk. And everybody got my phone numbers. I'm passing it out like Skittles because I want you to call me and talk to me. I'm going to maintain that number afterwards too. So I raise my money. I know what I need. I have a budget of what I need in order to run my campaign my way. I need to raise approximately $30,000. It's actually $32,119 to be exact.
Okay.
I teach financial literacy, so that's what I need. So after I run this term, God's will, I win, and the people vote, and I win. Then I'll take some of that money, and you can give it to nonprofits to help them. If there's nonprofits that's working to help domestic violence victims or youth, or they're trying to start a program to give you something to do, then you help them do that. What I would love to do, Kevin, I'm gonna tell you what I really want to do. My goal is to build 2 skating rinks, one in the Glades and one somewhere over in this area of Palm Beach County. Because I didn't skate well when I was a kid, but that was the place that kids went. And the problem with youth being so caught up in the street and doing things that they shouldn't be doing is because they don't have any really good
recreational outlets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So of course the gangs are gonna have things for them to do.
Yeah.
And then regardless of that, after I finish my two terms, that's my goal, and I've convinced some young person to take the reins, and I'm gonna pray them, through the initial, and then I'm gonna sit back and watch them make decisions. After that last run, that money can be donated to nonprofits as long as they're making a difference in the community. And that's what you do with your money when you decide not to run anymore. That's what happens to the money.
Okay. Because, I always hear about people raising these funds to run their campaign, and then the campaign ends, and you wonder what happened to the funds. You never really hear about what happens to the funds afterwards.
Yeah. People don't want to talk about that. It's amazing to me how some politicians have gotten in trouble, and instead of giving their or leftover funds to legitimate nonprofits, they give it to their friend that has a nonprofit, and their friend take the money
and cycle it back to them.
Supposedly do a project, and then they hire you to be the chairperson or the overseer of that project. That's so against the law until it's disgusting, but those things happen too. What can I say? Right. There is, however, and I recognize there's a thin line between right and wrong. It's so easy to fall off that little sharp cliff, to get caught up or to be swayed into taking money under the table or listening to a deal or voting for a deal, and they're going to take care of you on the back end. It's real easy because we're human. Right. Not because we're all born to be crooks, but because we're human. We have needs, we have wants. And every now and then we get silly. And we think, well, maybe I can do something that's good with the money. No, fool. Don't think like that. You have got to be steadfast in wanting to do the right thing. It's just that simple. Mm-hmm. It's always good to do the right thing.
Right.
People, it's funny to me how when in my run, people have said, well, Sylvia, you got arrested in 2012. I said, yes, I did. I got arrested and accused of not turning in all my income, in order to get my house. That was the gist of the charges.
Right.
And then it was thrown out because somebody in their right mind, the judge and the group, decided that there was no case. And so it got thrown out and expunged because I hadn't done anything wrong. All that was done because I came against somebody and stopped them from trying to use a grant report that I had grant management over, and I didn't let them change that report. So I got targeted. It is what it is. But I made it through.
Yeah.
So people can bring that up all they want. So I talk about it. Yeah. It only takes one half of a well-orchestrated lie for you to be put in jail. You could be the priest in the middle of going to do mass. Pope John is 97th. In the middle of going to do mass. And a well-constructed lie will make Palm Beach County Sheriff Department pick you up at the airport and take you to jail.
Yep.
I mean, all it takes is a lie. And then once it's on the internet, it begins a whole life of its own. Yeah. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, people will always bring it up.
Yeah, because people, if anybody goes and Googles Sylvia Sharps, they'll find that. They'll see it.
Yeah, they'll see the good. They'll see the bad. They'll see all I've done in the community. They'll see my website. Yep. They'll see my arrest. They'll see a whole lot of stuff. They will see me. I had this one guy who I made a speech and I said, I'm not afraid because my website was hacked. So I was a tad bit irritated. I said, I'm not scared. Nobody scare me. I said, God is on my side and this man is by my side. And so I'm running for the right reason. I'm not afraid. The man contacted me and told me that I was an angry black woman.
Well, you know, having grown up with
Like,
black women all my life.
no.
Wait, hold on. Having grown up with around black women and lived with them all my life. What is the difference between an angry black woman and an angry white woman? Or
Well,
an
see,
angry Hispanic woman? Just an angry woman. And people get angry because there something happened to aggravate them.
yes. But you know, we as women, we're not supposed to get angry. We're always supposed to be humble and docile and, you know, let things happen. And the water roll off our back and we still remain calm. And, you know, we don't have much to say. Let me tell you something. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to be politically correct. But yeah, you're going to know I'm ticked. You're going to know that. I think, to be perfectly honest with you, if more women and men got a little bit tired and fed up and angry, we wouldn't be in the position that we're in now with so many people doing things that they have no business.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Back in the day, when folk did stuff wrong that they weren't supposed to, the majority of them were black that were accused of doing something wrong, that they hadn't done anything. But they put them on the chain gang. So nobody wanted to go on the chain gang. You know that.
Right.
Because they were out working in the sun, busting up rocks and things of that nature. And then the prison system changed because there were, instead of a whole lot of black people being arrested, there were Caucasians being arrested. And that's the other thing. Yeah, I'm real about that. So now we got a prison system that has to adjust because they didn't want a whole bunch of white people out there busting up rocks. So especially if they were the son or the daughter of a governor or a sitting senator.
Right.
So they had to come up with the nice jails. So here we come with the nice jails that have TV and air conditioning and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's why and when the prison systems changed. And then unfortunately, people got used to being in the nice jails with the air and food and televisions. And they no longer feared going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became like an honor, a code of honor. If you kill someone, if you're a gang member, you kill someone and you got a tattoo and you down for yours. And that now it's an honor thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't think I would be happy about, you know, killing somebody and going to jail because I don't have the right to take somebody else's life. But that's what it has come to. The other thing is that the people that are in prison for the minor offenses that we now make money off of, like the marijuana, say the gentleman that's in jail for life, while at the same time right now, Joe Blow is making hundreds of thousands of dollars in California for some of the same thing that he's in jail for having smoking in his house.
Right.
That's injustice. You know, I mean, and so there, to me, the two just don't meet. And so there needs to be more people like me who say, okay, enough is enough. I'm tired. I'm ready to make a difference. That's an issue that needs to be addressed. You can't tell me it's okay for this state to be able to sell marijuana, medicinal or not, and this gentleman to be in jail for a lifetime because he had a bag of weed. No.
So
that's not working for me.
But okay, we're talking. You're talking about wanting to change something that has been in place for decades, though. That's not something that can happen overnight.
No, it's not. But I can be the start. Everything has a start and an end, Kevin.
True.
When Martin Luther King and the civil rights pioneers, when Rosa Parks got on that bus, she had no idea she was going to start a revolution. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When those bus drivers struck, when they decided we ain't driving no more buses, you're on your own. When they decided to boycott and not do anything else, when the representative marched across that bridge and almost died for civil rights, that was a start. Somebody got to start it. And if that means that's me, then so be it. I am the start. I am the start of the beginning of honest politicians. That's why I'm a peopletician.
All right, let's go.
Because I don't want to be a politician. Because I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to represent the people. So if I got to be out here by myself, beat my little drum, I know good and darn well, because I've seen actually a couple of other commissioners that are sitting on the dais right now vote no for some of the things that they should vote no for. And that gives me hope. They don't do it a lot.
Yeah.
But I see them do it enough to know that if I was there with them, I could be that one more vote that they need.
So how then can people get in touch with you to support you, to give, whether it is monetary or any other kind of support that they can give to Sylvia Sharps and the campaign that you're running? You know, whether they want to support you personally or they want to support your political campaign, your whatever they want to support of Sylvia Sharps, how can people reach you?
Well, on political campaign, my website is sylviasharps.com. No dots or anything of that nature. It's SYLVIASHARPS.com. And there's a PayPal link on there. You just click on it and donate money to me. The maximum allowed donation is $1,000.
Right.
And if you need to see a copy of my budget, I can show it to you. I need money to get my signs, the materials that go to put the signs up, and to do my commercials. That's what I need money for. My phone number is 561-876-5553. If you want me to come and talk to a group, or you want to reach out to talk to me, that's my number. That is my phone number. My mailing address is 194A Sparrow Drive, SPARROW Drive, Royal Palm Beach, Florida, 33411. If you want to mail me a donation, if you want to mail me a check. If you want to support my nonprofit is Worldwide Community Alliance Incorporated. We're a 501c3. Same phone number, call me. I do not have a website at this time. Our office is downtown in West Palm Beach, over in the greater Northwest area, at 401 North Rosemary. Area code 33401, West Palm Beach, Florida. And so we do relocation services for domestic violence victims. We get clothes for their children and food for their homes. And we try to get things done for our senior citizens, like make sure they get to the doctor or the dentist, buy them food and items that they need, but they can't afford because they're on a fixed income.
Right.
That's how you can help me. If you want to volunteer, you can go on my website, sylviasharps.com. Just click on the volunteer link and sign up to volunteer to wave signs. The election is August the 23rd. Click on that link to volunteer to help me get signatures, petitions signed, so I can have that 1,400 and some odd signatures and qualify in that manner instead of paying a little over $8,000. Those are the things that I need right now.
Right.
And any help is appreciated. If you just want to talk to me and find out if I, like my sister said, have lost my mind and that's why I'm running for office, then you can do that. I was talking to my sister when I told her, I said, I prayed and I'm going to run for office. She said, "You have lost your mind." She says, "Time for us to retire. You talk about running for office. Are you crazy?
Here we go.
You want all that stress?"
But you
And
know,
I'm like, "Well, somebody got to do it."
it's the things that you have done, Sylvia. It's amazing how you don't talk about them all. And really and truly, we could take a whole night talking about them all. And one of the things that has always fascinated me about you is the fact that you just identify as Sylvia Sharps. When there's more, there are titles, there are accolades, there are all these things. But you just go with Sylvia Sharps and you just leave it there. And you just work. And you don't
Yeah.
care what the job is. You just work. And
But that's what makes me happy, Kevin. You're right. I have several degrees. I'm a reverend. I am Dr. Sharps. I am all those things. But I am someone who honestly and sincerely cares about other people. And so to me, humility is required when you're giving of yourself.
yes.
It doesn't mean that I'm a pushover. Don't get it twisted. You
Not that.
give me the quarter, I'm coming out. But I'm humble enough to recognize that I've been where other people are,
Yes.
or are almost. And so I want to help them go beyond that and not have to go through what I went through. People don't deserve that kind of pain and those type of things happening to them. And if I can just be that voice of reason for someone, or if I can just help somebody make a decision that's going to save their child's life, then I've done everything I'm supposed to do. Do you know what my people say that they base their what they leave for others on what they have, their material things.
Yeah.
How much money they have, property and things of that nature. You know what I base mine on? The
What?
children. The children. There are 32 kids that I have worked with. 2 of them have passed. One had stomach cancer, and the other one was in Afghanistan, and he died. But I base my life's...
Your legacy.
What's the word I want to use now?
Your legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah, my legacy. Thank you. I'm getting older. I base my legacy on the fact that my kids call me, the ones that are teachers, when they're having events, and they say, "Miss Sharp, will you come so we can introduce you? Because we're doing with them what you did with us."
Yeah.
That's my legacy. When I see young people and they're like, "That's Miss Sharps," or the kids that we worked with at Salvation Army that have gotten older now. Some of them have graduated.
Yeah.
But you have no problem saying, "Hey, Miss Sharps," and running over, and still talking to me and giving me a hug. That's my legacy.
Yeah.
That's what makes a difference. That's what I have given of myself. And if I never become a millionaire, I am a millionaire because I've done something positive in their lives.
That's right.
That's who I am.
Sylvia, I want to thank
You did the same thing, Kevin.
What do I say when you put me out like that? You call me out like that, Sylvia? Seriously?
It's true. It's true.
As you were saying that, I was thinking about Naraya.
Yes.
She comes to mind, and I speak with her mom frequently, weekly, actually. And she recently told me the story of how Naraya was like, "Yeah, Mr. Kevin, yeah, I'm glad he did what he did."
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. So yeah, I can relate to what you're speaking about. As I wrap up tonight, I want to thank you once again, Sylvia, for taking the time out to share of yourself. Yes, you are on the campaign trail, but that's not why I brought you on here. It's a byproduct of it, yes. It benefits from it, yes. But so that even the people who are outside of Palm Beach County can look and they can hear someone talk about the passion that they have for their geographic community. And they can look at their representatives and say, I want you to do that.
Yes. Yes.
They don't have to have you.
Definitely.
They just have
Right.
to have what you stand for. Have some of your goals, some of your vision, some of your morals. Have if not all of it, just some of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just a little
keep
bit.
and just
That's
keep it
all.
above board. And just work for the community. So if they can get that where they are, then collectively we can have a better united states.
Yes. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take more of people like me and like you caring and giving a damn about what we're leaving
Yeah.
for our children to grow into and to be able to take over. You know, there's so many shootings and so many murders and so many killings and so much wrong until we become conditioned, to be upset about it for a few minutes and then we
move on. Yeah.
We can't do that. We can't continue to do that. We need to remain upset. Period. It's the only way things are going to change. I know good and darn well if somebody walked in my house right now and started changing my furniture around or, moving things around in my kitchen, it wouldn't be pretty for them. It would not go well. And so we should not become so unconcerned about what's happening around us that we just allow it to continue.
Yes.
Somebody has to take a stand.
True.
And yeah, it's gonna hurt. People gonna get mad. I got people mad at me. I've got the guy on Facebook threatening to come take me out. I told him where I was. I'm not afraid.
Take you out dancing?
I'm not.
Take you out for dinner? Take me
out, like kill me. He said he got upset with me because I posted on Facebook and he got upset. He said, I'll come take you out right now. I said, okay, here I am. I sent him a picture. Here I am. Gave him the address. Said, come on, buckwheat. I did file a report.
He didn't hear the story about that man that broke into your place.
Threatened me.
See, that's a problem.
But you know what? The other thing is, my dad told me, my great grandfather actually said, my papa, he said that everything that we do, all the things that we go through, and God knows he went through some things. He was in the Army Air Corps before it became the Air Force. He did 30 years and 6 months. He got called every kind of N-word, but the good one. But he maintained and he stayed in so he could have a career and travel all over the world.
Right.
He told me, he said, there is always something to smile about in every situation that you're in. And you have to find that in order to be able to cope. Period.
Yeah. I'm glad.
So instead of getting upset and giving up, I'm even more motivated now. You know, and I find joy in some of the things, and even the ugly looks I get, and from people who, some of them, they don't like me because I'm Black. Other ones don't like me because I'm outspoken. Other ones don't like me because they don't think women should be running for office. Other ones don't like me because I'm a woman preacher. I mean, there's just so many reasons people have given me as to what they find wrong with women like me.
Yeah.
But as long as I know I'm doing the right thing, I'm good. I'm okay.
Okay, you are. You're well okay in my books. I can tell you that.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on your show. I look forward to coming back, and we need to do some projects together, Kevin.
We
You
do.
know,
We
we
do.
do.
As you were talking, I was thinking about some of them too. Yes, we do. And it's, you know what? I'm at the point where I need to stop talking about them and just start doing them.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, gas price isn't going down.
No.
So let's.
No.
Why should we wait to do anything else? Let's do it. You know, I
Okay.
just need to get going. And anyone that
Yeah.
is listening, that's where you should be in your lives too. You know, let's just go. Sylvia, again, thank you. Lenny, I know you're back there listening. Thank you. Thank you for loaning her to us for tonight. Take care, Sylvia. We'll
I
talk.
will.
I love you from all the way up to all the way down.
Yes. You know I love you, Kevin. Let your better half know I said hi. Hug the babies for me. And we
Will
do
do.
need to set an appointment, get together. And just if we don't do nothing but just do an event,
Yeah.
maybe you and Lenny are great DJs. Maybe you can have a DJ, a DJ competition and
Um,
raise some money for a cause or something of that nature. I'm quite sure every listener you got will show
Yeah.
up for that.
Yeah. we should do something. We should, in fact, Lenny, we need to talk about doing a virtual party. We do something. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you again for having me on your show. I'm really proud of what you've done and how far you've come with this. I remember when you first started. So
Yeah.
I am so proud of you.
It's been a while.
You didn't
Yeah.
give up.
Not at all. Nor will I. Like
know.
yourself.
That's right. Got to keep going.
That's right. All right. Good night, Sylvia. Take care until we do it
Good
again.
night, Kevin. All right.
All right.
Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sylvia Sharps. The Reverend Doctor. She didn't use those titles tonight, but it's true.
Reverend Dr. Sylvia Sharps, SylviaSharps.com.
That's
Thank
right.
you, audience. Be blessed.
All right. Taking us out, the sound of Crescenti. A track called Joy. And in this song, he talks about joy not being so sweet unless you felt the pain, and not understanding how good it feels to be in the sunshine unless it rained. You know, these kind of words that remind us that with the rough times, you don't have to think that that is where it all ends. Because in the midst of it all, there are some good times, and it cycles around. And just like Sylvia said, her great-grandfather said, you know, there's always something to smile about, regardless of the situation. You just have to recognize it and accept it. This is our abbreviated musical therapy segment. I want to thank all my affiliates for carrying this broadcast. NIE Radio out of New Jersey, New Jersey's finest, with the motivator. Big ups to you, NIE Radio. Island Worldwide exhibiting the power of music. China Nicole, Gary, much love to you. Out of the UK, One Harmony Radio, King Genius, Queen Genius, enough love. WGLRO out of Texas, with Danny Walker on the morning show. Ollawap Radio, Dusick Media Group. ClintonLindsay.com with the Foundation Reader Network. A veteran in the business. Big ups, Mr. Lindsay. PEMGTV.com. Thank you, all the affiliates. Truly appreciate of you. Those of you that are out there in the community, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. And remember, your community is not just development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So whether you walk, ride, or drive, take the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train, the people that you pass along the way, these are members of your community. Do something good for them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how we rock on out of here in this abbreviated musical therapy. join me tomorrow for Healthy Love. It's Healthy Love night tomorrow night, and the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. The week continues as we go through and we experience the side effects of what is happening in Russia and the Ukraine. I want you to keep them in your prayers, and not just those over there in Russia and the Ukraine, because you have to consider both sides, but the rest of us too, because we are directly affected by what is happening. Don't think that because we're so far away that we're not feeling the effects. Just last night I was on the road and I saw gas prices at $3.99. I got up this morning, went back out on the road, and it was $4.17. And this was just from falling asleep and getting up. And I can tell you, I went to bed late last night. I was out at the event down at Blue Martini. Neri was on stage, and so I was at that event with Visions Band. And by the time I got home, went to bed, got up this morning, I went back out. It was $4.17 for gas. So we know those prices are still going to be going up because the incident, the situation over there in Russia and the Ukraine continues. Pray for them, because they need our prayers, and prayers change things. Pray for everyone affected, which includes yourself. Don't forget to pray for yourself, because that is important too, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you, wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you all a good night. Take care.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but don't cry. As long as there's another day, there's always a brighter way. I say, joy wouldn't feel so sweet if it wasn't for pain. No, sunshine wouldn't be essential if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't feel so sweet if it wasn't for pain. No, sunshine wouldn't be essential if it wasn't for rain.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.